and welcome to the Bullcast Podcast. I'm Katie Pickler, and with me as always is Court Winsett.
Hello, Katie Pickler.
And there's the opening bell.
Ding, ding. Okay, so what do we got coming up here? Today is Thursday, of course, because we always release on Thursday, but what's coming up this Sunday?
It's Mother's Day.
It is Mother's Day, so we're doing a Mother's Day extravaganza.
Because we all love moms. Moms are awesome.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Our moms were born to, our moms that we choose to have as bonus moms. I mean, there's just great moms all the time. But did you know there's actually parents to the tradition of Mother's Day?
Okay, so you're basically, by saying parents to the tradition, you're talking about the people that invented it?
Yes,
okay.
The founders. Yes, but they're dubbed the parents of Mother's Day.
That's some wordplay there.
Oh, yeah, you know. Well, President Woodrow Wilson is usually seen as the father of Mother's Day because he signed the proclamation on May 9th, 1914, declaring the second Sunday of May. That's right. You can't memorize the date. It's always the second Sunday of May. But that this would be a public expression of our love for mothers of our country. How sweet.
How sweet indeed.
Well, so tell us about the mother of Mother's Day.
Oh, the mother was a copywriter. Her name was Anna Jarvis, okay? And so back in like 1908, May 10th of 1908, Jarvis sent 500 white carnations to Andrews Methodist Church in her hometown in West Virginia in honor of her late mother, Anne. Yeah, so this is considered to be the first time that Mother's Day was celebrated. So, she gets credit for being the mommy.
Yeah, and really, she was back in 1908. So she really started this, and Woodrow Wilson just kind of put that stamp on it.
Made it official.
Exactly.
Nothing's official until the American president says it is.
So I'm going to put this disclaimer out there. Sorry, dads, we love you. We appreciate you very much, but this episode is for the moms.
Yeah, well, I mean, we fathers, we do get a Father's Day. Granted,
Yes.
It didn't come along until way later than Mother's Day, but we do get a Father's Day. So none of us dads are taking it all that hard. This is the Mother's Day episode, basically.
Yeah, okay. So let's, of course, start it off with our top 5, and we are going to do mom movies.
Mom movies. Definitely. Okay, so Katie, why don't you kick it off with your top 5 mom movies?
Okay.
Now, I guess let's give some ground rules real quick. I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but we're not talking about like necessarily, wow, these are the best examples of mothers ever or anything like that. These are just some mom movies that we both think are really great and are definitely centered on a mom.
Yeah, because if you remember way back, episode 12, we're on episode 48 now. Episode 12, we did a whole rundown of our best and worst movie and TV parents. And so, yes, we're not saying that these are the movies that have the best moms, because there's a lot of great movies that the movie itself is not centered around the mom, but we know that the mom was a badass. Okay, so I'll do my 5. Number 1 would be Stepmom. Susan Sarandon, Julia Roberts. It's just a great movie of the dynamic that I think when this movie came out, I watched it, and stepdads were still kind of not as, in my life, it seemed like I didn't know a lot about it. I didn't know that dynamic. And so this was very interesting watching how Julia Roberts' character came in as the stepmom and how she was really working with Susan Sarandon as the
Well, Susan Sarandon was very much sort of the I don't want to say typical, but she was very much a tiger mom almost in that movie. She also, she was the first wife, obviously, and then Julia Roberts played the second significantly younger wife to Ed Harris. And so the kids in the movie are older. They're I think one of them is a teenager for sure, and I think the other one is on the verge of being a teenager or something like that. Girl and a boy. Yeah,
very much the struggles of is one mom replacing the other, but it all works out because it's a great movie. Check it out. I'm not going to spoil it.
Which Julia Roberts movie is sadder, Stepmom or Steel Magnolias?
Well,
different. I think I cried harder and more in Stepmom than I did in Steel Magnolias, but I also think it's generational.
I don't know. I don't cry. So,
Braveheart.
Well, yep. Yeah. Okay, number 2. I don't know how she does it. This movie wouldn't be on my top list to watch, but I think it is a good movie. It's Sarah Jessica Parker, and it's all about her kind of crazy dynamic of trying to be in the business world, but also run a household. And it really sheds light on juggling kids and juggling business. And so I like it for that it really shows how a woman can do both.
Yeah, well,
and I like Sarah Jessica Parker. So
I generally do, but for whatever reason, there were a string of movies there that she came out with that just kind of, her character always seemed to rub me the wrong way, and this was one of those.
Was The Family Stone the other one?
Yeah, kind
don't
of
know
was.
that.
That's a good one.
Okay, number 3. Oh, Baby Boom.
Fantastic
I
movie.
used to watch a bunch of older movies, and Diane Keaton, this movie she's again a businesswoman, and this isn't her child, but I think it was it her sister or cousin or a relative got in a tragic accident, and the child was left to her, and so she had to uproot her whole life, and it was the guy that she was with didn't want that life, and she ends up moving out to the country, and it's a great little feel-good story.
There's an apple orchard. She starts her own
starts making
applesauce.
applesauce.
I think this has actually made one of my top 5 lists before, but I mean, it's a very good movie, and it's one of those that's gonna always be a good movie in my heart because it's one of my wife's favorites. So it's one of those it's a comfort movie for my wife. She, like, when we first started dating, she had Baby Boom on video cassette, so this was a long time
such a great
ago.
movie.
Yeah, great movie.
Okay, number 4 would be Trading Mom, and this is one I've realized not a lot of people have seen it, and for some reason, so in the Pickler household, we would go to Blockbuster, and I would always find like random movies to rent and would get stuck on random things. And this was one that I would watch a lot. It has Anna, and I cannot remember her last name.
Klumsky.
Yeah, the girl from My Girl.
Yeah.
And Sissy Spacek. It came out in 94, but the whole premise of this is this mom is killing herself. She's doing great. There's 3 kids, and they keep complaining like, Mom, you're so mean, or you're making us do chores. And so it's this whole magical thing where what if they could trade their mom in? And so they find this alleyway, and there's this shop, and you go, and there's booths set up, and there's all these different moms. And so there's 3 kids, so they get 3 chances. So each kid gets to pick a mom. And like one picks like, oh, the circus mom, like she's going to be awesome. Well, then it's of course like, it's kind of like Genie with the 3 wishes.
Yeah.
They always have something tragic that happens with it. But like the daughter picks this like Cruella de Vil almost type.
Right.
And yeah, but it's interesting because all the moms are actually played by Sissy Spacek. But
okay.
Yeah. So
that's an interesting take.
But of course, the moral of the story at the end is they realize how much they appreciate their mom. So I think that's probably why my mom was like, keep watching this movie, Katie. Okay, sorry. My last one, Freaky Friday. This is another one. I used to watch the Jodie Foster Disney movies all the time, like Candle Shoe, Freaky Friday, because those were the original Freaky Fridays.
Well, sure.
And then they did make a remake with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
But I think this is, again, another one of...
I've seen the Lindsay version, I think, 3 dozen times if I've seen it.
Have you
once.
seen the Jodie Foster one, though?
I actually don't think I have.
It's really good. But it's just, again, it's mother and daughter dynamic and them trading places, essentially, and living their life and seeing how, it's not exactly as easy as you thought it once was. And so I love it. Okay, that's mine.
Okay. So, keeping with the theme of movies that my wife loves, one of the movies that she quotes very frequently is Mommy Dearest. So certainly not an example of a great mom, but one of my wife's favorite movies to quote. She constantly, well, not constantly, but she does very frequently say, "No wire hangers, no wire hangers." So not necessarily the mom you'd want, but certainly we used to sit and watch it, and I think it was almost a comedy to her. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, it was a movie about Joan Crawford as it was Faye Dunaway played Joan Crawford, I think is how it went, if I'm not mistaken, and it's based on the biography of Joan Crawford's daughter, who was mistreated horribly by Joan Crawford. And so it's really sort of a nightmare scenario of how not to mother. But again, my wife loves it, so it's on my list. Number 4 would have to be Bad Moms, since we're kind of going with the whole bad mom theme.
Oh, that's a good one.
Except for Bad Moms, the mothers in Bad Moms are not bad moms. I mean, they're
just going away from the stereotypical, like, perfect PTA moms. And now, not PTA is great, guys. I'm not bashing that at all. But it's this stigma that they're perfect and everything. They're showing real life.
Yeah, they're very much, they're fighting against that whole mothers have to be everything to everyone. So you've got Kristen Bell, who I love. You've got Mila Kunis.
Yep.
And then Katherine Hahn, who just recently has really become very, very popular because of her role in WandaVision. She played sort of the antagonist in WandaVision, or at least one of the antagonists. Oh yeah, I guess that is kind of a spoiler, but come on, it's been a while. Cameron, edit that out. Anyway, good movie, very, very funny. The first one, second one, meh, but the first one was very funny.
Is Bad Moms in like the Bad Santa world? Is it like a multiverse?
It probably. They're trying to make it, but I think that these moms are much better level than
Billy Bob
Thornton.
Bad Santa is very much a dark comedy. I mean,
Yeah.
it is not lighthearted. And really, when it comes down to it, Bad Moms is very lighthearted. It shows some real world stress that these women have, but the way they deal with it is highly amusing. So,
Ooh, and then there's Bad Grandpa. I am going to pretend that they're all in the same world. It's like the new DC universe.
fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic. Okay.
Bad Granny's next.
Yes.
Yeah, it should be. Number. Okay.
3.
I think I'm going to go with number. I'm just trying to decide which one I'm going to do for number 3. Number 3 is going to be. I'm sticking with sort of the mother's theme, but not necessarily the what you expect. It's a movie called Peppermint. Again, it's a star that I absolutely love, Jennifer Garner. She's played a mother multiple times in several different ways. Peppermint is the one where she plays the avenging mother.
Oh.
And basically her family is killed. And that's at the very beginning of the movie, so no spoiler laws. Her family is killed, and basically she disappears for a while. And when she comes back as a bad
mama.
Yeah,
Mama Jamma.
Bad Mama Jamma. She is out to take some revenge, and she does it thoroughly. And Jennifer Garner is, as always, awesome in it. But it's just sort of it's basically just an action flick with a bunch of shooting and killing and stuff. So okay.
Jennifer Garner does get cast as the mom a lot.
She does.
I just was thinking about that because there's movie of the boy that is a plant. Really?
Timothy Green.
Yeah.
Or something. She's just such a sweet woman.
Yeah. She recently did a Netflix one with it's called like Yes Day or something like that.
I watched that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she's again a mom in that. She's just got she's able to do sort of wholesome, sweet, loving, caring type person. I think probably she is in real life. At least she does a pretty good job of portraying of putting off that vibe. But she's also really, really good at playing a bad Mama Jama because she got her start. She got her start in a TV show called Felicity. But where she really hit it big was when she was the lead in Alias. And that was a spy TV show, and she really got to show off some serious skills in terms of being cool and kicking lots of people.
Ben Affleck let go of a good one.
Yeah,
I
he
was
really
just
did.
thinking that.
And I think he thinks I think he agrees with you there.
Sad Ben Affleck.
Poor Batman.
Okay, so number 2, I can't believe I haven't finished my list yet. I'm sorry, I'll speed it up. Number 2 is going to be This Is 40. And again, this is one of my wife and mine favorite movies.
Great
It
one.
came out, it's about a couple. It's actually kind of a sequel to another parent movie, Knocked Up.
Knocked Up.
But it's Leslie Mann and Paul Rudd playing the parents of 2 daughters, and it's them dealing with, they're 40 years old, their kids are in their teens, and it really hit at the right spot for my wife and I at the time that we watched it, because we were basically right in the same spot that they were, and so it very much hit home with us and amused us. And Leslie Mann is, again, one of my wife's favorite actresses, so we watch all of the Leslie Mann movies, anything she's in, basically. But it was a fun movie. Loved it a lot. It was directed by Leslie Mann's husband, Judd Apatow, who is hilarious and does a lot of hilarious movies. So if you haven't seen it, watch it. But you may or may not like it, depending on where your mind is, where your head is.
And if you haven't seen the outtakes or the bloopers, YouTube it. It is so funny.
Oh gosh.
Okay, and then finally, number one. I didn't put this on my Oscars list, but this is another great movie. It was an Oscar-winning movie, and it was Oscar-winning movie for several things. It's Terms of Endearment. It is such a mom movie. Like Shirley MacLaine's performance as Deborah Winger's mother in that movie is like the definition of not necessarily what a mom should always do or how a mom should always behave, but it is very much just when I think of a movie where a woman depicts a mother, I picture Shirley MacLaine screaming at the nurse at the nurse's station near the end of the movie when Deborah Winger is in the hospital and she's like, "Get my daughter some drugs." She just absolutely loses it. She won Best Actress for it. Jack Nicholson won Best Supporting Actor. I think James Brooks won Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Director. It obviously won Best Picture. I mean, so it's an all-around phenomenal movie. But I mean, if you want to know what it looks like to portray a mother, then I think Shirley MacLaine takes the award. That's my 5.
So, moms, I mean, you're talking about these award-winning movies. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Most people, when they think, who do they think usually? They think their mom.
Oh, yeah.
They for sure think their moms because that's why they're here. So some stats about Mother's Day. More calls are made on Mother's Day than any other day of the year. Approximately 122 million calls. It's a lot of dialing.
That is a lot
Lots of dialing. So, if you have trouble getting through to someone on the second Sunday of May, that's why. It is the third highest selling holiday for flowers and plants. Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Sure. I assume Valentine's Day is probably the first.
Valentine's Day is probably the first. I didn't look and see what the second was, but who knows?
I can guarantee you it's not Father's Day.
No. Probably not. That's more of like grill tools and stuff like
exactly.
that. I thought this was interesting. The first thing a baby can vocalize is the ma sound.
Yeah.
Which is why in almost every language the word for mother begins with the letter M or is in some iteration of the ma sound.
Yeah, makes sense.
Y'all probably know that. Y'all have kids. Y'all have researched that. I'm not to that point yet.
Yeah, mama's always first.
Is that first?
Always, yeah. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't do too much to bring our babies into this world. Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, dads have important roles. You'll have your day, but this is the mom day because we know they're superheroes for sure. The most popular gift for Mother's Day is a greeting card. And then going back to the mother of Mother's Day, carnations still have a very special meaning on this day. If you send red ones, it means that your mother's still living. And if you send white, it means that she's passed.
No.
So that's something I didn't know before, but that's kind of cool.
I'm glad I know that because if I tend to lean toward white flowers, I tend to prefer
do not send your mama white carnations.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't need to be sending white carnations. That would be
no
bad.
omens. Okay, so our moms take care of us. I mean, they take care of us our whole lives. It's those that want to admit that they don't still take care of them, they're lying to themselves because I know for sure at least mother-daughters, and every relationship is different. But, when you have a bad day or you don't feel well, I don't care if you're married with children. Either if you have the chance, you're going to call your mom probably and just to have somebody to vent to who loves you unconditionally. And so, I think that's powerful that we need to recognize that. And, I know I do it all the time. And of course,
it's interesting. I know that there is a difference between the relationship between a mother and a daughter and a mother and a son. And I don't know how that really plays out. I just know I have a sister and I know her relationship with our mom is not better or worse in any way, but just I know that it's different.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that she talks to mom a lot more than I do.
I think the mother-daughter, this is again, most cases and definitely mine is you went through that rough stage where you really did not like each other. And it's usually the high school, college years. And it's where you're very much challenging each other. And that then I think the daughters have this click of reality of mom was right. And so, of course, you don't want to go and admit it. So then you kind of just start slowly easing back in. And then you realize that, heck, I'll admit this right here. I had to call my mom the other day because we had HelloFresh show up and I've never had to peel a carrot before. And so, yeah, I could have Googled it.
Wait a second. Did you just admit that?
Yes. I always just buy the baby carrots.
Carrot?
I just buy the baby carrots and cook with them.
Lanta.
But it had peeled the carrots. And so, yeah, I could have asked Alexa. I could have Googled it. But no, I put myself up for embarrassment and called mom and said, Mom, this is embarrassing. I'm 32 years old and I'll admit this. But how do you peel a carrot? It's...
But going back to the mom-son relationship, just from what I've seen.
Yeah.
I think...
Yeah, because you've got a lot of sisters, too.
Yeah, I've got a lot of sisters, and I've got one daughter and two sons. And I think the mom knows that the dad plays an important role for both genders, but both children.
Sure.
But I think the mom knows the dad plays an especially important role for the son. And so the mom can just love on the son instead of being concerned about being a role model. Not that she doesn't love her daughter, but, she really wants to grow her up in the way that she thinks she should be. But the way my wife treats my sons, she just loves on them so much. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I killed the room. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But I mean, everybody has a different relationship. And we kind of mentioned it before. Your mom is who you want your mom to be. And so we realize that there is a lot of people that it may not be their birth mother. It may be their stepmother, or it may be a bonus mother that is a friend, or you may be lucky enough to have multiple mothers that are, I know I've got some of my mom's friends that I call Mama Jane and, different things like that, that they're not my mother, but there's somebody like, Mama Charlotte, I'll call her if I need something.
And one thing's for sure, for a lot of people, no matter what, if you indicate even accidentally that you might need some help with something, your mom is going to jump right to it.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't even ask for it. A lot of movies are always like, one of the plot twists is always like, oh, your mom did this and this and this. You've got to make her stop.
Well, and you mentioned the difference. I think another part of the difference is, because I'm seeing a little bit with my mom and brother, is when a son gets married, then the mom kind of has a little bit of balance to try and figure out not overstepping, because now a wife has come into play. And so she may feel like the son doesn't need her as much.
Listen,
Is that not the case with you?
I know that marriage and daughter-in-laws and sons and son-in-laws and all of that stuff is very tricky sometimes.
It can be, for sure. And I mean, you have balancing with mother-in-laws and all of that. And it's a work in progress. But
I mean, I know, for instance, my wife she would, and I think has actually gotten a call from one of her children who lived out of town. And they said, don't worry, not a big deal, but this is going on. Gotten in the car and at night at like 10 o'clock at night and started driving toward said child.
Oh, yeah.
Just up, boom, up. I've got to go. I'm going toward child, and you can try and stop me.
Yep.
So that sort of attitude that sort of permeates a mother's relationship with her children throughout her children's lives. I mean, this was a grown kid of ours that's off in another city, and boom, Robin was in the car.
Mm-hmm. And it's a thankless job a lot of times, I feel like, because I've been guilty of, mom, I expect her to, go back to school days. Like, you just expect mom to have your supplies you need for your school project or whatever it may be. And if she doesn't, then she's going to, go out and get it. I was talking with my mom the other day, and she goes, yeah, I said something about baking, and she goes, back in the day, I could whip out chocolate chip cookies down to 30 minutes. I'd be ready to go, always had supplies on hand, because I'd never know when y'all would come home and want them. And it's just like, okay, mom, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely one of those I've seen even now. It's my mom will drop everything she's doing to go and help out with my brother or my nieces or me or anything like that. And then I feel bad, and I'm trying to become more aware of it, of that then she comes and helps us on things. Now who's going to go help her on her things? Yeah,
that's the thing. Okay, so this is a happy, upbeat, hopefully somewhat lighthearted episode about moms, because we don't want to get too deep into the darkness of of life or whatever. But there is a point that we're sort of building to here, and that is that, from the perspective of planning your life, one of the things you've got to take into consideration is who is going to take care of mom, because it's going to come.
Court and I really were icky about doing this episode because we don't want to talk about this ourselves.
Oh, yeah. No, a lot of reasons why you don't want to think about being in the situation where you've got to address some of these issues, but they are issues that you do have to address.
Yeah, so I mean, it's facing the music of mom takes care of everyone else, but who's going to take care of mom? And it's, we're going to open this up. Yes, this is, when we're talking about this is mom and dad. This is including your parents, of starting to, and as Court said, this is a touchy subject that we really want to just graze on because we've decided that this is so important. We want to do multiple episodes over this season that touch on different aspects. But just to give you something within this episode, one of the important things that you need to think about is having a family conversation. So if you have siblings, or if it's just yourself, then maybe it's just you and your parents having this conversation. Or if it is with siblings, make sure it's a sibling conversation and then a whole family conversation.
And plan it for not Christmas dinner.
No. Not a holiday, not somebody's birthday.
Set a time when you actually get together as a family to discuss this, so that it's not bringing down some other funny, like, don't bring it up on Mother's Day if you go to Mother's Day brunch.
Please don't do that.
For goodness sake.
But you're addressing your parents' financial planning, finding out how's their health? What do they want? Where are their documents? Who's their financial power of attorney? Who's their medical power of attorney? Making sure you're crossing the T's, dotting the I's. If you've got siblings, trying to figure out who's really going to run the show, who's going to step up, because there's so many times that people have not, we'll talk about it later. Mom's in great health. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. And
then it's just like, boom, you've got to make a decision right now. Mom took a turn for the worse, or dad fell, or something like that. And this is not something people want to talk about, but you got to talk about it.
Yeah, you do need to sort of have a plan in place. Know who's going to do what. Don't just assume that, like, for instance, don't just assume that it's going to be your older sister who is going to just jump in there because your older sister is always on top of everything. Your older sister may have enough going on. I don't know.
Well, and also it's one of those that say, I know Cam's got a big family, but say that he met with his siblings and they had a plan today, but then fast forward 2 years, now one sibling's had something tragic happen in their life, and that was going to be the one that was taking charge. So it's a conversation that doesn't need to. It's like your financial planning of your life. You don't make one plan and then that's what it is.
Well, and then
you evolve.
You also have to take into consideration, where do your parents live? Where do they want to live?
Yes.
And where do all of you live? Where do all of your siblings live in the same city with you and your parents, or are you spread across the country? And where do your parents want to end up? Is there one of you that just so happens to live in Florida and your parents want to retire to Florida? Well, then great. Then maybe that one can sort of help head things up. But taking those things into consideration matters and should be done.
And one thing, since we are a financial podcast, so you make a budget for your life. Hopefully you've been listening to us and you've got your budget down pat and you've got that emergency budget set. But have you thought about your emergency budget in the aspect of, what if you have to help your parents out? Because that may be another layer of your emergency fund. That fund may be great for if your dryer goes out, but is that going to be able to help you if you've got to get a caregiver for someone, or if you've got to pay for chemo treatment for mom or something like that?
I mean, if one parent needs care, because care comes in many different forms. It could just be assisted living. It could be memory care.
Yeah.
It could be full nursing home help. But that stuff can get expensive quickly. And if they don't have necessarily the funds to pay for that themselves, can you get assistance for them? Can you get government assistance that will help them pay for it? Or are you going to have to help them pay for it? You've got to understand, sort of going in, what is the future going to look like? Do they have long-term care insurance, for instance?
And we're going to break down all of these different things because it's so important. But you do not want to, you of course want to be there for mom and dad. You want to take care of them, but you also don't want to put your family at risk, because then it's just a domino effect and it just isn't good for anybody. So that's something we're going to break down all these different aspects of it, and make sure you have an understanding of your parents' financials and your financials. Court, I need you to go in session right now and really preach to us something really important.
Well, so listen, one of the things that we are going to talk about, and we're going to do, again, we will do more in-depth episodes on several of these topics that we've just touched on here. But one thing that you have to consider is, as much as I have preached to everybody about making sure that you have an estate plan, you also kind of have to talk it over with your parents and find out if they have an estate plan, because this sort of thing is extraordinarily important. And it's not just about who's going to get the statue of the eagle in
it's
Dad's
not about
study.
after they
It's
pass
not
away.
who's going to get stuff. It is about making sure that you have a plan in place now for how you can handle affairs for them now or later while they're still alive. An estate plan includes not just a last will and testament, but when I say an estate plan, I'm also talking about the healthcare power of attorney, the financial power of attorney that you already mentioned. All of those documents are things that really will come in handy helping your parents down the line. And then obviously, you don't ever want to be caught in a situation where you have someone who has passed away, and this is as dark as I'm going to get, and then we're going to go back into happy fields. But, someone who has passed away and they pass away without a last will and testament, then that can complicate issues a lot very quickly. So it's another thing that you kind of have to discuss. And again, it's not about greed. It's just about planning and making sure that things are in place to make things as easy as possible down the road.
Absolutely.
So, again, talk about it. We'll get more in depth with it later,
Yes.
but just, something to talk about.
Well, and so back to happy. Technology has really become our best friends. And so cherishing mom, not just on Mother's Day, our days are so busy. And it's one of those things that sending a simple text message, if your mom does text, or picking up the phone and calling, like that goes such a long way. Try and make it a priority to visit your parents, because you don't know how much longer they're going to be here. And you don't know how much them seeing your children or their grandchildren will really help boost their health as well.
I know that certainly during this pandemic that we seem to be maybe coming out of now, near the beginning, it didn't really fully hit me just how much it was affecting people in general until I realized how antsy my parents were to see their grandkids and to get out of their house and to not just be stuck at home doing nothing and not talking to anyone, because we were all so worried about getting my parents sick that we were all, oh no, we have to stay away from them. And they were like, well, hey, wait a second. We'd like to see you guys. And so we really started getting creative with being able to visit with them. But obviously one of the things that is key to being able to visit your parents, whether there's a pandemic or not, they want to see you, they want to see your kids. Technologically, it's great if you've got FaceTime or Zoom or whatever, and they can do that. Fantastic. I know, for instance, my mom has one of those, I think it was a Facebook portal. And she had that during the pandemic. She had one in her house, and she had one that was with her sister so that she could talk to her sister using the portal. And I know that having that ability was very important to her and to her sister there at the end. So it's just one of those things where you take advantage of those things. Absolutely. Because you forget how, at least I guess I should say, okay, I'm not a very nice guy. What? I'm not the type that really craves the human contact so much. You sit me in I saw a meme the other day that was like a picture of Clint Eastwood sitting on the porch with a beer, and the meme was something like, you don't realize how antisocial you are until something like a pandemic happens and nothing about your life changes.
Oh, God.
I guess I'm Clint Eastwood. But anyway, it didn't occur to me how much it might be affecting others who sort of needed that interaction a lot more than I did. So, take advantage of it. Make sure that you're conscious of the fact that there are some other people out there that might actually want you in their life, as shocking as that may be. So,
yeah. And I said I wasn't going to go dark, but I do have to throw out that we do have great relationships with our clients. And sometimes we do have some of them come in, and the stories they tell us are heartbreaking, of having fights with their children, and I just want to go call their children and slap them and be like, this is your mom. She is precious. Whatever you're upset with her about, please just get over it. It's so petty. And so there's that caveat I want to throw out there. And the other is our moms are strong. They're supposed to be strong for their children. And a lot of times they will not express when something's going on with them. And so, yes, you can call or FaceTime and check on them. But you might need to, if you're not close by, you might need to make sure somebody's checking on them, that they're getting out of the house, that they're taking care of themselves. Because a lot of times the mental health, like we'll put on a brave face and it could be that they're sitting in a house full of mail stacked up that they haven't touched in 3 months. And that they're not coping with it, but they don't want you to see that side of them.
Well, I know that I fortunately, I have always felt it's very easy for me to just walk into my parents' house. And it's not necessarily, everybody doesn't have that same kind of relationship. But I know that I can go over to my parents' house at any time and just walk right in. And they'd never be like, what are you doing here? Get out of my house.
You don't have an appointment?
Yeah. And sit down and chat with them and do whatever, spend time with them. And, know what's going on in their life. But if it's not so easy for you to do that with your parents, then you still need to try and make that effort. But I'm really interested in this last one you have here. What does that even mean?
It's about, making sure your parents are getting out. And I saw something that was like, take your parents to your office.
Take your parents to your office.
So
take your parent to work day?
Yeah. Do you remember me talking about my brother and works at the Federal Reserve and they had bring your parents to work day? And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. Because it's like you have take your kid. I don't know even if they still do that anymore, but take your kid to work.
Sometimes, yeah.
But it was kind of a cool concept because you think about it, your parents more than likely are the reason you've gotten to this step in your life. Yes, you've put in the hard work, but they were your cheerleaders behind you. And so it's a cool concept for them to be able to see where you work every day. Now, I realize that may not work for everybody, but it's the whole premise of let your parents, let your mom, let all of them be a part of your life and see your world. And that's just going to keep them thriving even longer.
Part of your world.
I mean, because there's some really cool moms. I got to throw in some more pop culture here. Court, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Molly Weasley.
Well, I mean, okay, so Queen Boss Mom, obviously, and she has a particular line at the end of Deathly Hallows that is an amazing line that I'm not gonna utter on here.
We would have to bleep a little bit.
Yeah, but it basically the gist of it is right before she just goes medieval on Bellatrix Lestrange, she says, "Get away from my daughter." So on and so forth. And it's fantastic in the book. It was so exciting in the book. When she said that, I was like, oh my God, that's the best line ever. And then when I saw the movie, I was afraid they were going to sort of edit it in the movie. And then they don't. They left it all the way it was. And I was like, yes, fantastic. So awesome mom, awesome scene. That clock. About the closest thing we have to that clock that Molly Weasley had in her kitchen, where it showed the location of all of her different kids and her husband, at work, whatever.
Oh, I didn't notice. I'm not as big a Harry Potter nerd as you.
Lord.
Sorry.
Okay.
That's really cool, though. I like that. Do you know? What was that Dateline? Or was it Dateline? That's it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
Yeah, that was a newscaster's
close
opening line or closing line,
yeah.
Something like that. And it was also it's close to the name of a movie. I don't know.
Anyway.
Okay. None of us have a clock showing the location of all of our family, but you do have Find My Friend. So if you're into that kind of technology and you don't mind seeming kind of being somewhat of a stalker, then you've got that available to you.
Court, are you a stalker?
All of my family is on Find My Friends, and they let me follow their location. And yes, I have been known to just kind of during the middle of the day open it up and go oh, look, I guess my son is in class right now. And yeah, it's a little weird, but whatever. They turn it off when they get tired of me knowing where they are.
Gotcha. Well, so, I mean, there are some awesome moms in the real world and that we all love and support. There's some great moms portrayed in pop culture. I mean, whether you're a cool mom like Regina George's mom in Mean Girls.
There are no rules in this house.
I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom in her pink velour sweatsuit. It's awesome. But I mean, Lorelai Gilmore is an awesome mom that I think we all would love to hang out with.
I mean, there are some questions about whether or not Rory really turned out as great as she could have, So a lot of people don't like the way she acted in some of them later seasons, but that's neither here nor there.
That adds to a point of mothers are very harshly judged. They are always harshly judged. Like
That's
if a
true.
child acts bad, more than likely they always blame the mom rather than the dad.
True. That's very true.
So
yeah.
But I mean,
then again, you got a mother like Martha Kent who ended up with a kid like Superman. So there's some moms. I mean, how much credit did she really get for her son being basically the most powerful man in the world?
Well, and then you've got Jason's mom from Friday the 13th.
Voorhees.
Who, I mean, she just was very dedicated to her child, okay?
Yeah, extraordinarily
very
so.
dedicated.
Yikes.
And then Catelyn Stark, I mean...
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Caitlin got very much sort of she got short shrift in the TV show. I mean, she did not... I'm hoping that George R.R. Martin is going to play out her storyline a little bit more in the books than we saw in the TV show, because I think there was definitely a lot more that could have been plumbed. So hopefully we'll get more, because in the books there's certainly an indication that she is such a ferocious protector of her children that she might even be continuing to ferociously protect and avenge her children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beyond the grave.
Beyond the grave.
Okay, well, so I do want a disclaimer again. We will be doing some more episodes really breaking down long-term health care and, picking does your parents live in your home? Do they have an assisted living, a retirement community, independent living, power of attorney, medical power of attorney? We're going to go through all of those.
Long-term care insurance.
Yeah.
All of those things.
All of those aspects. But for now, why don't we bullseye this episode up, because we love our mamas.
Bullseye, I love you, mama. Okay, so let me do my bullseye by basically trying to cover my own self and say, guys, if you're married to a mother, then you need to make sure that you are wishing your wife a happy Mother's Day and taking care of her on Mother's Day and recognizing what a wonderful mother she is.
You better recognize.
You better be a mother lover. You know what I'm saying? So I do want to say mothers are important. But, I feel like just from the perspective of I've got a wonderful mother who I love, who actually listens to this. So,
hi, Mom.
Yeah. But I've also got a wonderful wife who I love, who actually listens to this sometimes. And, so I want to make sure that I give them both equal credit here.
Yes, your wife is a mother to your children.
Yes.
So, yes, it's important to shout out.
Make sure you focus on them as well.
Is that your bullseye?
That's my bullseye.
Okay, my bullseye is going to be, mothers take care of their kids so much. I have not had the pleasure of being a mom yet, but it's one of those I have learned really over the past couple of years how important it is to check in on mom, have those conversations, and they really do know best. They care about you. But what I want to close this out with is the importance of not only checking in on your parents and being there for them, but having that family conversation, planning it out, talking to your siblings, and making sure that you have your parents on board and your siblings on board for what's going to be best for them long term, that you're building that into your financial planning personally, your budget, that you are there to take care of mom and dad, and that they don't have to worry about that they know that you're behind them and supporting them. So that is my bullseye.
Well, that's quite a bullseye, Katie. Now listen, there's the closing bell. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a second just to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you, all of our listeners who are mothers. Happy Mother's Day. To my mother, Happy Mother's Day. To my wife, Happy Mother's Day. To my wife's mothers, Happy Mother's Day. I just, I want to make sure that we got it all covered.
I got, BB Pickler, she is a big fan of ours as well. Mm-hmm. She listens all the time. So, Mom, you're awesome. I love you. To my mother-in-law, I don't know if she listens to this or not, but Happy Mother's Day. And then to, grandmothers. Yeah, of course. We got to remember grandmothers too. They're important. So Happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Everybody.
To my wife, Abby, Happy Mother's Day. You are an awesome mom.
Aww.
And to my actual mom, Catherine, or Kit Kat, as she is called by the grandkids, I love you. Happy Mother's Day.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have made it to the end of yet another episode of the Bullcast Podcast. If you liked what you heard and you haven't already subscribed, then please feel free to go to your favorite subscription service and click that subscribe button. We come out every Thursday, and if you click that button, you can make sure that our words are pouring straight into your ears. It'll be fantastic. You can also find out more about me and Katie on our website. That's bullcastpodcast.com. Feel free to leave a little note to us. Let us know if you like something or you don't like something. Let us know if you want to hear about a particular topic. That's bullcastpodcast.com. We also have pictures, and we like to put the pictures on the Instagram. The Instagram handle is @bullcastpodcast. And every now and then we will post a tweet on our Twitter. That Twitter handle is @bullcastpodcast. And finally, I don't know if we've even mentioned it today, but Katie and I work for a financial advisor firm called Pickler Wealth Advisors. And if you'd like to find out more about us professionally, more about our firm, our amazing team, and our amazing boss, David Pickler, then please feel free to check out that website. That website is picklerwealthadvisors.com. Advisors with an O, not an E. Ladies and gentlemen, I have given you everything that you need to go forth and be merry. So do that now. Go forth and be merry. Happy Mother's Day. Word to your mother. I'm out.
And I'm Katie.